Scrum methodology. So if you can see the illustration, this is the cycle, or this is the process of Agile Scrum. So we have here inputs from customers, team managers, and executives. So all their user stories, no? Everything, every comments or suggestions from the stakeholders, from the customers, from the team, software development team, the managers and the executives will be considered as user stories. So it will be handled by a product owner. So we have a product owner in Agile Scrum, right? And all the user stories will be stored in product backlog, all right? So later on, I will show you a sample of product backlog. And then in every sprint, in Scrum, we have what we call sprint or iteration. So in every iteration or in every sprint, it is only 2 to 4 weeks no nga duration. For us in my experience in syntactics, when I was in syntactics as web analyst and business analyst in an agile team, we have amo iteration is ano lang siya, 2 weeks iteration. So in iteration, there we have the software development na, no? I mean, software development life cycle. We have the inside is the design, development, deployment, and the live testing. Okay, so naana na siya sa isa ka iteration or isa ka sprint. So again, sa isa ka sprint, kuan lang na siya. It's either 2 weeks or 4 weeks. So sa sulod sa 2 weeks, naana diha ang design, ang development, ang implementation, ug ang live testing. So naana diha tanan ang software development life cycle. So it is done by sprint or iteration. So before you proceed with the sprint, of course, you're going to do a sprint planning meeting. And then all the output of the sprint planning meeting is the sprint backlog. So in sprint planning meeting, you are going to prioritize no what tasks, kung sa nga mga tasks sa inyong buhaton for this particular iteration, for this particular sprint. Now, you may not be able to appreciate this as you go in your thesis, but when you reach on your kung maka-graduate na mo and you land a job in an IT company and you're going to create softwares, agile na usually ang ginagamit karon. So waterfall lang kung mag-create lang ka og katakong giingon last time, mag-create lang ka og kanang simple lang nga website, kabalo na ikaw unsay scope, unsay mga pages nga buhaton. But most of the softwares right now, wala ta kabalo no kung unsa ang iyahang ang lawak niya or ang scope niya. So it is usually based on the user stories, no, based on the comments and suggestions of the stakeholders. Alright? So we have then sprint backlog. So your sprint backlog na dayon, diya na dayon siya. No, diya na ang list of tasks for that particular iteration. So in Agile Scrum, we have what we call Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is the facilitator of the software development team. So we have Scrum Master. We also have kaning software development team. We have designer, we have developer, and we have tester. So those are the software development team. So ilang leader is a Scrum Master. So this software development team and the Scrum Master do a daily stand-up meeting. Okay, this is very important because if you're going to create a software, makatrabaho mo po, maingon gani og let's do a daily stand-up meeting. At least you already have an idea, no, on how to do it. Because in daily stand-up meeting, literally, you are going to stand up. No? Are you with me?
No.
So you are going to
Yes,
stand up.
ma'am.
So whether
Ma'am.
bisan asa ka sa kalibutan, kay usually remote man gyud no ang software development team sa amo sa una naay team sa Cagayan de Oro, naapoy team sa US. So mostly sa US is mga developer sa kanang sa hardware. So kami is sa software, me sa web application and the mobile application. So my role before is mag-collect ko og kana bitang user stories ana. Tapos akong ginabutang sa product backlog. Tapos we do dayon sprint meeting, and then we do dayon prioritization or sprint backlog. So kana siya expected that your team members is remote siya. So dili mo sa usara ka office. So expected nga lahi-lahi inyuhang hours, no, inyuhang time. So bisan og lahi-lahi inyong time, dapat magsabot gyud mo nga every 9 a.m. in the morning mag-stand up meeting. Right? So kana siya. And then we have then sprint review. So kung mahuman ang 2 weeks, you will then review kung unsa nga task inyong nangahuman. Okay? And then you have then sprint release. So mo ni siya nga inyuhang gideploy inyuhang nahuman nga mga task, no? And then at the end of the iteration, you will do a sprint retrospective. So from the word retrospective, you're going to go back, no? You're going to look back on what happened on that iteration. Okay. So what are the Scrum meetings? What are the Scrum meetings that you will be able to do in Agile Scrum? So again, you have sprint planning, daily stand-up meeting, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. So what are Scrum artifacts? When we say artifacts, these are documentations, no? So again, product backlog, no? So product backlog are dili lang siya user stories, but also use cases, but also defects, no? So defects means bugs, no? Features, additional features of the software. Okay, we have 10 minutes. Then mga technical work. So nanadyatanan sa product backlog. So this is the sample template of product backlog. So the very important ani is the priority, no? Kung unsa ang priority. So ang mag-decide ani si product owner. So unsa ang mga priorities ng gusto ni product owner na mabutang sa software. Kay kuan man imong software, incremental man siya, no? Na siya versioning, no man nagtawag siya agile. Okay, then we have sprint backlog. So as you notice, the sprint backlog is called out siya sa product backlog. So muning product backlog, muning user stories. Pag may user stories mo na siya, maingon sa client na I want this. Like kung sa Facebook, gusto ko na ingani, gusto ko na Facebook Live, gusto ko na my day. Ano. So, kaning user stories naka-store sa product backlog, ang sprint backlog din is naka-call out siya gikan sa product backlog. So, depende siya sa priority. Okay, this is an example of sprint backlog. So, we have muning requirement, add check, availability button, task dayon kung unsa nga task imong buhaton, and then you have estimated days, kinsa ang assigned person, and then the status, no? So, remember that in Agile, you have at least 4 status, no? Opat. You have to do, in progress, for checking, and done. Okay, before we use Trello, no, in our project management. So, perhaps we can also use Trello in our thesis. All right, so I think I have already shared this in UStep kaning PowerPoint. So you can see daily stand-up meeting na atay video, but you can check that one sa ato ang PowerPoint. So daily stand-up meeting is naka-box lang siya into 15 minutes. Dapat dili siya mulapas og 15 minutes, no? And then of course you're going to answer 3 questions. Each team members must answer 3 questions. What did you do yesterday? What will you do today? And are there any hurdles or impediments in your way sa imong task, sa imong mga assignments, na task nga na-assign sa imuha? Unsay mga hurdles nga imong na-experience? Wala na ko ni nabuhat tungod ani kay wala pa ni siyang API, chura pa. So, kana siya. So, of course, part to dine si kato akong gi-mention sa cycle, sprint review, kung unsay mga nangahuman, no, nga mga task. Okay, so we have, of course, sprint retrospective. So, sa sprint retrospective, mura gyapon siya og daily stand-up meeting nga isa-isa gihapon pangutan-on ang mag-facilitate gihapon si Scrum Master. So isa-isahon gyapon na niya pangutana ang bawat member, isa-isa po na siya motubag. What went well sa iteration? what didn't go so well in the iteration, and what lessons I have learned. So before sa una, every iteration na mo, kada sprint retrospective na mo, mahuman among iteration, mag-pizza me or ano, something like outside sa office na meeting to talk about sprint retrospective. Dako ni siya nga tabang because you're going to reflect what have you learned on the on this particular iteration. So kana lang siya no for Scrum meeting. So natin question? Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes, question.
Aning ang Scrum Master o Project Manager, ma'am, the same ra sila og role?
Very good question. Dili. Scrum Master is different from Project Manager. Si Project Manager, dito na siya sa waterfall na method. Si Scrum Master is kuan lang gyud siya, kanang facilitator lang gyud siya sa team. So dili siya wala siya actually gabuhaton, dili siya ga code, dili siya ga document, ga facilitate lang gyud siya sa team. Wherein si project manager is more on documentation siya.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
Ma'am, ang sprint retrospective, ma'am, kaya apil na siya sa daily stand-up meeting.
No, sprint retrospective is buhaton lang siya at the end of iteration. Ang daily stand-up meeting, muna siya ginabuhat every day.
I-document na mo ang kanang katong sprint retrospective, ma'am.
Sa Edmudo, dili na. So, daily
Okay,
stand-up
ma'am.
meeting lang ako ang gipangayon. So, if you are going to check your Edmudo, I have task for you, no, for this discussion. I have task for you. If you're going to check, ako nang i-share ang Edmudo. Okay? So, if you're going to check your Edmudo, na ako dire, wait lang ha. Sorry, okay. So, if you're going to check your Edmudo, by the way, kaning write a summary of software engineering video will be considered as your quiz. So, please submit if naano may time mag-submit or naano may load mag-submit. So, naata diri no, create a video of your daily stand-up meeting by group, by thesis group. Okay, this will be considered as your quiz. Kani siya, quiz na siya. And then, kanina yung create a daily Scrum stand-up meeting report. So, maghimo pud mo ani. This will be considered as your seat work. So, ang mag-submit ani is si kuan lang, si project leader or si Scrum Master. Make sure lang nga naka-list out inyong team members. Okay, so if you're going to check in Edmudo ninyo, wait lang. So, nara siya, no? So, I have here a template of daily Scrum or stand-up meeting. So, you're going to populate that one. Just follow the template. So, this will be considered as your seat work. So, katong video, no? Kaning video will be considered as your quiz. So, kung wala mo nag-uban, pwede ra mo mag-Zoom or any Discord baka nga kanang ma-video ninyo inyong daily stand-up meeting. So, of course, dapat mag-stand up. Mag-stand up gid mo. Para di mo madugay. Kaya nagtindog mo, kapuyan nun mo, ana.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So, unsa galito i-answer sa daily stand-up meeting? What did you do yesterday? What will I do today? And what are the hurdles or impediments that you have encountered in your task? So kana. So, unsa pa man yung mga task karon, di ba? Unsa man yung mga task nga ginabuhat sa inyo para sa inyong baby thesis? Kung ano man mo, ga-decide pa mo unsa nga title, ga-research pa mo.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige, any more question? We have 2 minutes left for our Zoom. Ma'am, pwede may mga copy sa press. Yes, I will send it in new step.
Ma'am?
Nay nag-question, pwede ba daw siya mga copy? Yes, I will send the presentation or the PowerPoint in new step. What if,
Ma'am,
yes,
sorry, ma'am.
mm,
Paano ba ka ang tanan activities, ma'am, nakatunggingon ni ma'am sa October 5, dito ipasa, ma'am? Tanan?
ang deadline nato is October 5. Pero magsugod na ko og check. So mas maayo nga mas earlier mo makapasa para dili pud magdapog inyuhang mga assignments. Kung ano
Ay,
mo
okay,
guna ako,
ma'am.
leeway ra mo guna ako sa kanang wala bitaw data. Di ko ganahan mag-set og schedule or deadline kay kasi ma-pressure siya ba niya. COVID ba ako mas maadto na noon siya og kanang internetan or kuan. Ano. Pero mas maayo, mas earlier
Sige,
mo.
ma'am. Sige, ma'am.
Ay ma'am,
Yes.
mag-ask pag ko ma'am, sa amo ang daily meeting mo ba, amo na siyang i-compile para sa mga stand-up meeting din ma'am, or kanang amo ang daily meeting is lahi pod sa mga stand-up meeting ma'am, murag summary na tanan sa stand-up meeting?
Dili siya. Kung alam ni siya kanang sample lang ninyo nga stand-up meeting. Dili siya summary. One lang na siya, one stand-up meeting nga inyong ipasa. Dili siya summary.
Okay ma'am.
Dili mo maghatag og
Okay,
summary.
Okay ma'am. Thank you ma'am.
Okay,
Hello,
less than 1 minute na lang tano. So, ang ato i-cater ang questions, balik lang mo ani nga link. Be? Pwede ra ba? Ano na lang? Wait lang. Or pwede rang